Are you dreaming of buying a home in 2024 but feel like you're lost in a confusing maze? What if I told you with the right knowledge and tools that getting your own place has never been easier? In this video, I'm going to clear up the confusing housing market and show you the step-by-step process on how to buy a home in 2024. We'll cover everything from the exact step-by-step process on buying a home, the different people you need to talk to, and some massive pitfalls home buyers make every day. By the end of this video, you'll have all the tips and tricks to make your dream of home ownership a reality. Now, before we dive into it, I'd like to take a minute and ask a small favor. If you find any value in this video, give us a little thumbs up. It makes a huge difference. And if you want more tips and tricks like this, hit that subscribe button below.
It's time to rock and roll.
Step number one, go to a broker and see how much you can borrow. Sitting down with a broker is a good place to start. Not only will the broker tell you how much you can borrow, they'll also factor in the extra costs in buying a home, like stamp duty, solicitor fees, and other costs that you need to consider when you're buying a home. This will work out what your home buying capacity is. For example, if you're buying a $550,000 home in Queensland, there's an additional $15,000 in costs, which include stamp duty, transfer duty, solicitor fees, and other miscellaneous fees that you need to add on top. So in total, you need $565,000 to buy the home. In this case, not only do you need a 5% deposit, which is $27,500, you also need to cover the $15,000 in stamp duty and other costs. So the minimum savings you'd need if you're buying a home as a first home buyer in Queensland, for example, for $550,000, is $42,500 in savings. Talking with a broker can also make you aware of what other schemes you might be eligible for. As a first home buyer, you may be able to get a grant if you're buying a brand new property. You may be able to take advantage of the home guarantee scheme and not pay lender's mortgage insurance or other benefits depending on your job.
You gonna show me the money.
This relatively quick conversation can at least give you a direction on what your budget is for your first home purchase. You'll get an understanding of the repayments and the costs ongoing to make sure it fits in with what you can comfortably afford. Step two, once you know the maximum amount you want to spend on your home, it's time to start looking. This is often the hardest part of the process. Trying to narrow down the type of property you want, the suburbs you like, what you want from that property. Do you want a pool? Do you want to have it be north facing? It's a lot to try and narrow down. We have a home buyer's brief, which I'll link below, but it's a good place to start where you start shortlisting how many bedrooms you want, the types of property, the affordability, and narrowing down the exact suburbs you want to live in. What I often find is a lot of first home buyers get really overwhelmed at this part. You set up a really wide filter, casting it too wide, and you can be looking from one side of a city to another without finding any homes that meet your budget. The best thing to do here is go straight to the sold section on realestate.com.au or Domain. Try and narrow down 3 suburbs that you like, filter for the specific properties, a 1-bedroom apartment for example, and make sure that recent sales that have happened in the last 3 to 6 months are within your budget. If not, that's okay. Look at the next suburb over and try and find something that's going to meet your criteria. This simple trick of narrowing down to only 3 suburbs might sound limiting, but it's the way to ensure success. You'll become a suburb expert in that specific area. You're going to start to understand what 1-bedroom apartments are selling for, and when the right opportunity comes up, you can strike faster and be quicker than anyone else to secure your first home. Step number 3, find your conveyancer or solicitor. A conveyancer or solicitor looks after your legal interests in the home buying process. Specifically, they're going to look through the contract of sale and make sure that there's protections in place to look after you. Now, a conveyancer is not going to be able to do much until you've identified and found the right property and you've got a contract you're going to look to sign. But it is worth being on the front foot to have them ready for that day when you need to make the call. My tip for a conveyancer is don't go cheap.
That's too much.
It might sound like a great idea saving $200 on the conveyancer's fees, but this can be fraught with danger. I had a situation with a home buyer named Tim a couple of years ago who went really cheap. He was using a friend of a friend's mum who was a part-time conveyancer to help with his first home purchase. It was all going really well until the day of settlement when his friend's mum was off sick. Being the only conveyancer there, the settlement wasn't able to be completed because Tim didn't have a conveyancer to contact. So check out their Google reviews, and if one conveyancer seems more legitimate or comes as recommended from a friend, it's worth going with the safer option. You could be risking your $500,000-$600,000 home over a $200 fee. Step number 4, you've been to open homes, you've been looking, you've finally found the one. What next? At this point, it varies slightly between state from state, but generally you'll either make an offer to the real estate agent in writing on email or an expression of interest form, or you'll ask them for the contract of sale, which your conveyancer is going to review before you sign it. At this point, you're going to make an offer to the real estate agent. Say, yes, I want this home, $500,000, this many days finance, this many days building and pest. We have a whole bunch of other videos when you get to this point, so don't worry if it feels a bit foreign right now. The main thing is at this point, you're going to fill in an offer and put how much you're willing to pay for your new home. Step 5, if the owner likes your offer, they're going to accept your contract and you're both going to put your names on the dotted line. The agent's going to contact you and say, congratulations, you've got your new home. Now it's time to do everything else.
But wait,
there's more.
At this point, you'll forward your contract to your broker or conveyancer who will start the finance process, and the conveyancer will start the legal process. We'll come back to that in a sec. It's also at this point that you need to organize a building and pest inspection. This is a good part of the process just for peace of mind. A building and pest inspector is a qualified builder who'll go and check out your new home, look in the roof, check for termites, whiteout damage, water damage, etc., and give you a bit of peace of mind that the place is in tip-top shape. If they find something that's wrong, you can potentially talk to your solicitor about cancelling the contract and seeing what that involves, or trying to negotiate the price down if it's things that aren't too big. So speaking of the solicitor, it's at this point they're going to start doing their checks. They're going to request strata reports, body corporate reports if you need, and potentially do council searches to make sure everything's okay for you and you're not taking on a big risk. It's also at this point that your broker will contact the bank and secure your formal or unconditional offer. This is when the bank says the money is yours, you're good to go, no more conditions attached. Step 7, once the finance is secured, it's unconditionally approved, and you're happy with your building and pest inspections, you can go unconditional on the contract. It's at this point there's no backing out. You pay your final deposit and you're on the home stretch to settlement, which is when you move in. Step 8, your conveyancer will arrange settlement with your bank and the other party's solicitor. That's the person you're buying it from. Settlement's the day you're going to move into the property. Depending on your state, this can range from 1 month to 6 weeks, or longer if you negotiate. It's also during this period your mortgage broker will help you arrange and sign the loan contracts from the bank, which will come through a couple of days up to a week after your formal approval letter. Also keep in mind, about a week out from settlement, the day you're going to take over ownership of the home, you want to arrange a pre-settlement inspection where you can go to the house, make sure the walls and everything's tidy and still in the tip-top condition you last saw it in. If there's problems, if they left rubbish there, if there's been a bunch of holes knocked in walls or junk left at the place, you can speak to the agent and look at getting them to fix it up before settlement, because once it's yours, it's yours. They're not going to come back and remove rubbish once you take over ownership. Step 9, the day of settlement. On the day of settlement, your bank will give the sellers the money and your solicitor will organize all this. When all goes through, your conveyancer will give you a call and say go pick up the keys from the real estate agent because it's finally your home. And that's it. The house is finally yours. It's that simple. Well, it feels that simple. We have breakdowns of all these different sections in other videos. So if you want to understand more on making an offer, if you understand the pre-settlement inspection checklist, or what happens between your formal approval and settlement, check out our videos below. So you think about buying a home in 2024? At Hunter Galloway, we're the home for home buyers across Australia. We'd love to help you fulfill your dream of home ownership in 2024. So if you need a hand, hit us up at huntergalloway.com.au. And until next time, see you later.